Welcome back everyone to another video. Assign appropriate formal charges to each atom. Now we're given two structures and we're going to start with the first one. Let's simply expand all of our bonds to make it easier for us. So we have a 3-member chain, a methyl group. Let's add the 9 hydrogen atoms. And now we can begin. Let's recall the formal charge formula. Formal charge is equal to the number of valence electrons of an atom minus the number of bonds minus the number of non-bonding electrons. So let's say we take any of the 9 hydrogen atoms. The number of valence electrons for hydrogen is 1. How many bonds does hydrogen have? In each case, we see only 1 bond and no non-bonding electrons. So we get a 0 formal charge for each hydrogen. Now, we can essentially add zeros to each hydrogen to make it really clear. And from here, we're going to consider one of our carbon atoms. Let's say we focus on the methyl carbon. So what we're going to do is simply apply the same formula for the methyl carbon. Carbon has 4 valence electrons. We see a total of 1, 2, 3, 4 bonds and no lone pairs, right? Specifically, none of the 3 methyl groups has lone pair electrons, so we're subtracting 0. And this gives us a formal charge of 0, meaning each carbon also has a formal charge of 0 except the central one. So let's focus on the central one. Carbon has 4 valence electrons. How many bonds do we see? Well, that's 3. The number of non-bonding electrons would be 2. And when we subtract 4 minus 3 minus 2, we get -1. And this gives us the formal charge on the central carbon. That'd be -1. Well done. We can continue with the second structure. Let's draw the structure. First of all, we are given an ethyl group. Let's expand the bonds. And now we can essentially apply the same logic as before. What we can immediately tell is that the formal charge of each hydrogen would be 0 because each hydrogen has 1 bond, right? And no lone pair electrons. So we can essentially assign zeros to each hydrogen atom. What about carbons? Well, based on our formula, each carbon atom has 4 valence electrons, 4 bonds around it, and no lone pairs. Meaning, just as before, we get 0 formal charge for each carbon. So let's assign zeros. So the 4 carbon atoms have 0 formal charges. What about oxygen? Well, it's really important to understand that we have 3 bonds and 2 non-bonding electrons. So let's apply the formula. The formal charge of oxygen would be 6. Oxygen belongs to the group 6A of the periodic table, so we have 6 valence electrons. We see a total of 3 bonds and 2 non-bonding electrons. Now, this gives us a +1 formal charge. So we're going to assign +1 to oxygen. And this is how we can finish our problem because we have the final answers and conclude the video. Thank you for watching.